Hi, I'm Steve Spencer from SMB Capital, and today's trading lesson is really about why do people get involved in trading, and if you're not involved in trading for the right reasons, um, it really can impact your success. And so one of the first questions I always ask, whether it's a new trader, someone we're interviewing to train for our desk, or an experienced trader, is how did you first become interested in trading? Why are you interested in trading? And the reason we ask this is because there's a fine line um, between developing skills and understanding trading as for what it is, which is basically the practice of elite performance, no different than becoming a high-level athlete or a high-level performer, versus someone who is prone to maybe becoming a degenerate gambler, someone who just spends their weekends down in Atlantic City or playing cards all the time, and they have an addictive personality. They like the thrill, they like the excitement, and those are their reasons for being involved. If that is the mindset, you're just not going to see the work that goes into it that's necessary to achieve the levels of success. Trading is not about being cool. It's not about being sexy. This isn't the world of high fashion. This is really about learning the skills necessary to become successful and working on them day in and day out over a very long period of time. And this brings me to the point of kind of working with new traders on the desk. So a lot of people will come in and they know Netflix and Amazon and Tesla, these well-known names that move up and down and they're exciting, and you see them in the press all the time and you see them on Twitter. And these are the names that some people just gravitate to. And when people gravitate towards those names at the beginning of their careers, despite the fact that we talk about there are certain types of stocks and certain types of setups that they need to focus on at the beginning while they're developing their skill level. It's very different someone who's been trading for a few years, a long period of time, getting involved in a Netflix or a Tesla or even a WUBA, the hot Chinese internet stock of the last few days. Because there's a certain amount of skill there, there's a certain amount of risk taking that their more experienced traders are comfortable with. When I see new traders gravitate towards those plays, despite advice to the contrary, to me, I wonder what are the reasons why they're involved in trading to begin with. Do they want to work on developing their skills, or are they in it because they think it's sexy and cool and this is going to be something that they can talk about at the bar over the weekend to their friends and people who they meet? And so what happens is when we run our morning meeting each day, there's usually one or two stocks. The other day it was General Electric. Today was Intel. These are stocks that are very liquid. These are stocks that are the opposite of sexy, generally don't move, 50 cents in a day would be a big move for these stocks. But the great thing about these stocks are you can really control your risk. And you can practice the setups at the beginning of your career. And if you stick with these stocks, I also have put in Wells Fargo as well. It's a very liquid name as well. If you stick with these at the beginning and work on your skill set, you have a much better chance of success. Now we know that what the statistics are, people who try to become successful traders, the success rate is 5% or less based on these stats over the years that you hear about. Maybe with training, you can multiply that to 15 or 20%. But at the end of the day, people who do not treat this as skill development and something that takes a long period of time and do it the right way, there's virtually no chance of success. And so when I look at something like today, Intel, which was the second stock we talked about in our morning meeting, and we said, hey, this is a very liquid name. The stock normally trades 35 million shares a day. It's a market leader. We normally don't trade it, but on earnings we look at it, and as a market leader, it's actually down 20% from its highs. And so if the news isn't that bad, maybe the reaction is going to be, we'll see some upside. And so what we kind of walk the traders through on the desk in the morning meeting, and you can kind of see, I grabbed a screenshot of kind of the written notes from the game plan, was, hey, right now it seems like the majority of the analysts are positive on it. It wasn't really a case of the numbers were anything great or spectacular, but they were okay, and they said some positive things, and then the stock had already come down 20% since it put in its high. This is the name that new traders, developing traders should be looking at because it has well-defined support into 32. That's what we kind of talked about in the morning meeting, and we'll share that video clip as well from the morning meeting with you. Because if you get in there and your risk is 10 cents and they walk it back up to our two resistance levels. One was 32.70 and the next one was 33. You're talking about a really good risk reward. And there's something to be said, not only developing skills at the beginning, but that feeling of actually having a winning trade. Developing traders, new traders, their win rates are very low. Sometimes 20%, 25%, very low win rates. And so if we're handing you something like we did the other day in General Electric, buying into the 27 level, which ended up going up $1.50. We're handing you Intel into the 32 level, ended up going 75, 80 cents, maybe even all the way to our 33, our top target. We're handing you those things. Those are things where you can put on very small risk and get the feeling of what it's like to actually have a winning trade, to build that confidence up. And that's going to be part of your psychology and that mentality that you're going to need going forward. And so trading is not about being sexy. It's not about being cool. It's about developing your skills. And at the beginning, let's lean on the more experienced traders to find the stocks that are most liquid, to find those good setups for you and take advantage of them. You're going to have a much better chance of being successful at this if you want to do this for the rest of your life as a career.